What happened to Ireland's most beloved racehorse, Shergar? Shergar, born on March 3, 1978, was not just any racehorse. He was a symbol of Ireland's sporting excellence and quickly became one of the most celebrated thoroughbreds in history. Bred in Ireland and trained in Britain, Shergar's brief racing career captured the imagination of the public. His achievements on the track were nothing short of remarkable, and his legacy was sealed after a dominant win at the Epsom Derby in 1981, where he stunned the world by finishing 10 lengths ahead of his nearest competitor. It was the largest winning margin in the Derby's long and storied history. Shergar's racing career was short but impactful. Starting in September 1980, he competed in 2 races, winning one and placing second in the other. The following year would prove to be his golden season. He won 5 out of 6 races, including the Irish Sweeps Derby and the King George VI and Queen Elizabeth Stakes. His powerful stride, calm demeanour, and imposing physique made him a favourite among jockeys, trainers, and spectators alike. By the end of that season, Shergar was considered one of the finest racehorses of his time. Following his successful run, his owner, the Aga Khan, decided to retire Shergar to Ballymenny Stud in County Kildare, Ireland. The decision to retire him was partly due to his growing commercial value. After his Epsom Derby win, the Aga Khan sold 40 shares in Shergar, valuing him at £10 million or $13.5 million. Retaining 6 shares for himself, he created a syndicate of 34 other investors. Shergar's days on the racetrack were over, but his new role as a breeding stallion was just beginning, with high hopes for a legacy that would continue through generations of winning bloodlines. However, everything changed on February 8, 1983. In a move that shocked the world, Shergar was taken from his stable by an armed gang. The crime took place under the cover of darkness, and the thieves demanded a ransom of £2 million. The syndicate, however, was cautious. Communications with the gang were brief and fraught with mistrust, particularly when the group failed to provide convincing evidence that Shergar was still safe. After 4 days, the thieves broke off contact entirely. The mystery deepened when no substantial leads emerged. The police were left with little to work on, and despite national and international interest, the case went cold. Years passed, and speculation continued to mount. There were many theories. Some believed Shergar had been moved abroad, others thought he was being held for future ransom, but no credible sightings or communications ever surfaced. In 1999, new information emerged when Sean O'Callaghan, a former member of the Provisional Irish Republican Army, publicly claimed responsibility on behalf of the organisation. According to O'Callaghan, the horse was taken as part of an operation to raise funds through ransom. He stated that shortly after being moved, Shergar became distressed and injured his leg, prompting a tragic end to the situation. O'Callaghan claimed that due to the injury and panic, the gang decided to end the horse's suffering. While his account cannot be verified beyond his testimony, it aligns with other investigations, including one by the Sunday Telegraph, which concluded that Shergar likely passed away within days of being taken. Despite these claims, the IRA has never officially admitted any involvement in the theft. No one has ever been charged in connection to the crime. The syndicate never received a credible ransom payment request again, and Shergar's remains have never been recovered. It is believed by some investigators that his body may have been buried somewhere near Aughnashilin in County Leitrim, but extensive searches have never confirmed this. The disappearance of Shergar left a lasting scar on Ireland's sporting and cultural memory. It became more than just the story of a stolen racehorse. It became a tale of loss, uncertainty, and the vulnerability of beauty and excellence in a chaotic world. His case became one of the most baffling and heart-wrenching mysteries in sports history. The story was picked up by journalists, authors, and filmmakers, and over time it transformed into a legend that blended elements of crime, politics, and mystery. For those involved in Shergar's life, the grief lingered long after the headlines faded. The Aga Khan never publicly pursued justice beyond the initial investigation, and the members of the ownership syndicate quietly absorbed the loss. Shergar, once a proud symbol of Ireland's racing glory, had vanished without a trace. Today, the legacy of Shergar lives on not just in historical records or commemorative plaques, but in the hearts of those who remember his brief yet brilliant rise. His name still conjures memories of a golden time in racing, and his mysterious disappearance remains one of the most haunting stories ever to unfold in the world of sports. As years go by, and no answers come to light, Shergar remains a mystery, a legend of triumph and loss woven into the history of a nation that once cheered his every stride. The mystery of pigeons wearing tiny cowboy hats. In December of 2019, Las Vegas became the unexpected center of a bizarre and concerning mystery involving pigeons wearing tiny cowboy hats. What at first seemed like an elaborate internet joke soon proved to be very real. As videos and photos surfaced online, skeptics assumed the images had been digitally altered. However, locals who witnessed the birds firsthand quickly confirmed that the hats were indeed real and firmly attached to the birds' heads. At first, the sightings sparked laughter and amusement. The birds, often spotted near McCarran International Airport and the University of Nevada, appeared to be wearing miniature cowboy hats and even sombreros. Social media was soon flooded with humorous nicknames like Cluck Norris and Calamity Jane. One video showing the hat-wearing birds racked up over 2 million views, turning the incident into a viral sensation. But as the novelty wore off and the birds continued to be spotted wearing the hats for several days, concerns began to grow, especially among animal welfare advocates. What made the situation alarming was the realization that the hats weren't simply perched on the pigeons' heads, they were glued on. When some of the birds were observed closely, loose feathers could be seen trapped around the edges of the headgear. This raised the possibility of injury, stress, and exposure to harmful substances, such as the adhesive used to affix the hats. The joke, it turned out, came at a serious cost to the animals. Local rescue organizations, particularly Lofty Hope's Pigeon Rescue, became involved in trying to help the affected birds. They managed to rescue one of the birds, which they named Billy the Pidge. The pigeon had a red cowboy hat glued to its head and was found in visibly poor condition. Although they cared for her and tried to improve her health, she passed away a few days after her rescue. The shelter speculated that the hat and the glue used may have played a role in her declining health. The fumes from the adhesive could have compromised her already delicate respiratory system. In addition, the hat may have prevented her from properly grooming herself or dislodging pests, something that is critical to a pigeon's well-being. Officials, including the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, weighed in on the case, but ultimately said it did not appear to be a matter requiring law enforcement intervention at that time. Nonetheless, the incident raised ethical questions and sparked a broader conversation about how animals are sometimes unintentionally harmed in attempts to amuse or entertain. Reports also emerged that others, inspired by the viral videos, had attempted to place hats on additional birds, exacerbating the issue. Some speculated that the hats may have been used as a promotional stunt, especially since a large rodeo event was taking place in town during the time of the sightings. If that were the case, it added a layer of controversy to the situation, making it not only a question of animal welfare, but one of responsibility and ethics in marketing. The mystery of the cowboy hat pigeons ultimately turned from a viral oddity into a cautionary tale. The culprit has never been caught. The Phantom Barber of Pascagoula. During the summer of 1942, in the midst of global unrest brought on by World War II, a strange wave of fear swept across the small town of Pascagoula, Mississippi. While war dominated the headlines, residents of this quiet southern town found themselves dealing with a bizarre local mystery. An unidentified figure began invading homes in the dead of night, not to steal valuables, but to cut the hair of women as they slept. The strange series of events would become known as the case of the Phantom Barber, a name coined by local media to capture the chilling nature of the incidents. The mystery began at a convent, Our Lady of Victories, where Mary Evelyn Briggs and Edna Marie Heidel awoke to the startling discovery that their hair had been cut while they slept. Neither of them recalled seeing or hearing anything unusual during the night, and there was no clear indication of how the intruder had gained access to the building. Just days later, another report surfaced, this time involving a 6-year-old whose hair had also been cut in her sleep. These strange occurrences had no clear motive and no suspects, only deepening the confusion and fear among residents. As more incidents came to light, a pattern began to emerge. The unknown assailant typically struck on Mondays and Fridays and entered homes by cutting slits in window screens. The only thing ever taken was locks of blonde hair from the women. These trophies were unsettling, but no one had yet been physically harmed. Still, fear began to build. Families started keeping their windows locked, fathers applied for weapon permits, and residents avoided going out at night. Those who did venture out travelled in pairs. The local police, desperate for leads, even deployed bloodhounds, but the dogs failed to track the mysterious figure. The Phantom Barber's most notable attack following the initial events was on a woman named Carol, daughter of David G. Peaty. Despite the Peaty family taking extra precautions to secure their home, the Phantom managed to enter once again and cut Carol's hair. This time, a footprint was discovered near the window, offering the first physical clue. However, it did not lead to any concrete progress in the investigation. Then, the case took a darker turn. Mr. and Mrs. Estine Heidelberg were brutally attacked in their home. The assailant, believed to have entered using the same method as before, beat the couple unconscious with an iron bar. Though both survived, the incident marked a major shift in the nature of the crimes. The formerly bizarre but non-violent intrusions had escalated into outright assault. The question that loomed was whether this violent attack was part of the same pattern or a separate crime entirely. 2 weeks later, the Phantom Barber struck again. This time, Mrs. R.R. Taylor was the victim. She had 2-inch locks of hair removed, but unlike the previous incidents, she reported a strange smell and sensation during the attack. Authorities later identified the odor as chloroform, suggesting the intruder had used it to keep her unconscious. The presence of this chemical added a new layer of complexity to the investigation. Shortly afterward, the attacks stopped as abruptly as they had begun. In all, the Phantom Barber was believed to have broken into at least 10 homes during the span of his eerie campaign. Despite public panic and intense police scrutiny, no one had been definitively identified as the culprit, until August of that year, when police arrested a man named William A. Dolan. Dolan was a 57-year-old German chemist and was said to harbour a grudge against the Heidelbergs, the couple who had been assaulted. He was charged based on circumstantial evidence, including strands of human hair allegedly found near his residence that were believed to belong to Carol Peaty. Authorities also noted his professional background might explain the presence of chloroform. Dolan was eventually convicted and sentenced to 10 years in prison. Even though Dolan admitted to the assault, he maintained that he was not the Phantom Barber. This admission raised questions among locals and investigators alike. Why would someone supposedly obsessed with quietly snipping locks of hair suddenly commit a violent attack, only to return again to the non-violent method? The drastic shift in behaviour led many to doubt whether Dolan had truly been the mysterious intruder all along. For many residents, Dolan's conviction did not bring closure. Some believed that the Phantom Barber had simply used Dolan's arrest as an opportunity to disappear, perhaps relocating or lying low to avoid attention. Others speculated that Dolan may have been a convenient scapegoat during a time of rising wartime paranoia, especially considering his German background. To this day, the true identity of the Phantom Barber remains uncertain. The case continues to be one of the most bizarre and unsettling chapters in Pascagoula's history, lingering in local folklore and the imagination of true crime enthusiasts. Though no new evidence has surfaced in the decades since, the tale of the mysterious figure who snuck into homes to steal locks of hair continues to captivate and puzzle those who hear it. Whether the Phantom Barber was a disturbed individual seeking some strange sense of gratification, or if the entire episode was a series of unrelated crimes wrapped into a single narrative by fear and coincidence, one thing is clear: something strange happened in Pascagoula that summer. And until more definitive evidence is uncovered, the Phantom Barber will remain a mystery. The mystery of the Loveland Frogman. In the quiet winter of 1972, the small town of Loveland, Ohio, became the setting for one of the most unusual and enduring mysteries in American folklore. Known as the Loveland Frogman encounter, this bizarre series of sightings would involve police officers, local residents, and eventually attract national attention. The case would not only puzzle investigators, but also impact the careers and credibility of those involved, sparking debates that still persist decades later. The most well-known accounts stem from the early hours of March 3, 1972. Officer Ray Gricar, a Loveland police officer, was driving down Riverside Road on an icy night when he noticed what appeared to be an animal lying near the intersection of Twitewee Road. Initially thinking it was a dog, Gricar slowed down to offer assistance. What happened next defied all expectations. As he drew closer, the creature rose on two legs, revealing itself not as a common animal, but as a humanoid entity with frog-like features. Standing around 4 feet tall, the being had bumpy, leathery skin, a head resembling a frog or lizard, and disproportionately long legs. Gricar watched in disbelief as the creature leapt onto the guardrail and disappeared down the embankment into the Miami River. Shocked and disturbed, Officer Gricar immediately returned to the station and reported the sighting to his colleague, Officer Mark Matthews. Skeptical at first, Matthews agreed to accompany Gricar back to the location. There, they found scratch marks on the guardrail and unusual tracks leading toward the river, evidence that something had indeed been there. The encounter was officially documented, setting the stage for what would soon become one of Ohio's most talked-about local legends. Less than 2 weeks later, on March 17th, Officer Mark Matthews had his own extraordinary experience. While driving just outside Loveland, he encountered a creature lying near the road. Concerned about potential road hazards, Matthews exited his vehicle to move what he assumed was roadkill, but just like in Gricar's case, the figure suddenly stood up. Matthews described it as identical to what Gricar had seen, around 4 feet tall, with leathery skin, a frog-like face, and a long, lizard-like tail. When the creature made a sudden movement toward him, Matthews drew his weapon and fired. The creature, seemingly uninjured, escaped over the guardrail and vanished into the darkness. These two police reports ignited a wave of curiosity and concern. The descriptions were too detailed, the accounts too similar to be easily dismissed. Media interest surged, and the Loveland Frogman became an object of fascination not just locally, but nationally. However, the attention was not entirely welcome. As the story gained traction, both officers began to face professional scrutiny and ridicule. Over time, they would recant parts of their stories, later claiming that what they saw may have been nothing more than an escaped pet iguana. Yet, many remain unconvinced by this convenient explanation, especially considering the initial detail and urgency with which the encounters were reported. While the Loveland officers' encounters are the most famous, they were not the only reports from that time. Around the same month, a local farmer claimed to have seen multiple frog-like humanoid creatures on his property near the Little Miami River. According to his account, he spotted 4 beings walking upright near the waterways. They were described as being between 3 and 4 feet tall, with greenish-grey skin, bulging eyes, and wide mouths filled with sharp teeth. The farmer observed them from a distance before they noticed him and retreated into the river, submerging completely and disappearing. Days later, he saw the creatures again, standing along the embankment as he rode past on his bicycle. This led him to believe the river might be home to an unknown amphibious species. Over the years, more stories have emerged. Though none as detailed as the 1972 reports, some locals have claimed to see similar creatures by the riverbanks at night, often describing feelings of disorientation or time loss. This strange element has led some researchers and theorists to suggest that the creatures might possess some form of hypnotic influence or even a connection to unexplained aerial phenomena reported in the region. The possibility of the Loveland Frogman being linked to extraterrestrial encounters has been speculated, especially given the region's history of UFO sightings and the FBI's later interest in unusual aerial activity. As with many legends, there is no concrete physical evidence to confirm the Frogman's existence. Still, the consistency of the descriptions and the credibility of the witnesses, especially trained law enforcement officers, lend a degree of authenticity to the accounts. The decision by the officers to later revise their reports is often viewed with skepticism, as the initial details were too vivid and the emotional response too genuine to dismiss as mistaken identity. Whether the retraction was made to avoid professional backlash or due to external pressure remains unclear. To this day, the legend of the Loveland Frogman continues to captivate enthusiasts, skeptics, and folklore scholars alike. The story has found its way into pop culture, books, documentaries, and local urban legend tours. Loveland itself has embraced the mysterious creature, with some using its image for local events and branding. Yet, at its core, the tale remains an unsolved mystery, fueled by strange sightings, eerie consistency, and unanswered questions. Whether the creature was an undiscovered species, an elaborate misunderstanding, or something even more unexplainable, the Loveland Frogman has secured a place in America's paranormal history. The events of March 1972 continue to intrigue and puzzle, leaving behind a trail of questions that may never be fully answered. As long as people report strange figures near the waterways and whisper about sightings under the moonlight, the legend will live on, part cautionary tale, part enduring mystery. The mysterious case of Ray Gricar. Ray Frank Gricar, an American attorney, held the position of district attorney in Center County, Pennsylvania, from 1985 that ended in 2005. On April 15, 2005, Gricar disappeared under circumstances that remain unknown, and no communication has been received since then. Gricar contacted Fornicola on April 15, 2005, to notify her that he was entering the Brush Valley region located northeast of Center Hall. Following Gricar's failure to return home, Fornicola reported him missing late that evening. The next day, investigators located Gricar's crimson Mini Cooper in the parking lot of a local antique store in Lewisburg. The vehicle housed his county-issued mobile phone, but it did not include his laptop computer, keys, or personal wallet. Investigators found no indications of malicious intent. According to police and family members, the vehicle's position, next to two bridges across the Susquehanna River, had resemblances to the placement of Gricar's older brother Roy's vehicle when he took his own life in 1996. Subsequent to the identification of Gricar's vehicle, officials conducted a thorough search of the river and its banks, but were unable to locate any trace of him. Law enforcement officials also saw that the conduct of a sniffer dog in the vicinity of Gricar's vehicle indicated a possibility of his entering another vehicle with another individual. Pennsylvania officials commissioned the FBI to examine Gricar's bank accounts, credit card information, and cell phone records, but were unable to discover any indications of his whereabouts. The county-issued laptop belonging to Gricar was found by fishermen in the Susquehanna River, beneath a bridge between Lewisburg and Milton, on July 30th. However, the hard drive of the laptop was not found. Divers conducted a thorough search of the river area in close proximity to its discovery during the following days, but were unable to locate any further objects. Approximately 2 months later, a hard drive was found on the banks of the Susquehanna River, approximately 100 yards or 91 meters away from the laptop's whereabouts. Investigators speculated that it had originated from the laptop, but it was severely damaged. Despite extensive analysis by the FBI, the US Secret Service, and the data recovery company Kroll OnTrack, no retrieval of any data was made. In April 2009, Belafonte police disclosed that prior to Gricar's disappearance, someone individual had accessed the home computer at the residence he cohabitated with Fornicola and conducted online searches on subjects including how to corrupt a hard drive, how to sabotage a hard drive, and water damage to a notebook computer. In June 2011, Lara, the daughter of Gricar and executor of his estate, filed a petition with Center County to officially declare him deceased. The next day, law enforcement in Utah apprehended an individual who bore a striking resemblance to Gricar on a misdemeanor conviction, but he declined to disclose his true name. This John Doe had a striking resemblance to Gricar in terms of stature, weight, lips, and even certain wrinkles, which prompted conjecture that Gricar had been discovered. Center County authorities forwarded duplicates of Gricar's fingerprints to Utah, but both sets did not correspond. Authorities ultimately determined the identity of the man. Given his 6-year absence without any evidence of his location, his story continues to be a mystery. The mysterious disappearance of Jim Thompson. Jim Thompson, an American businessman and former military officer, is a name synonymous with the revival of the Thai silk industry in the mid-20th century. His efforts not only brought global recognition to Thai silk, but also played a crucial role in preserving the craft during a time when it was on the brink of extinction. However, Thompson's legacy is shadowed by one of the most enduring mysteries of the 20th century, his sudden and unexplained disappearance in the Cameron Highlands of Malaysia on 26 March 1967. Despite extensive searches and numerous theories, the fate of Jim Thompson remains unsolved, leaving behind a fascinating enigma that continues to captivate the world. Born in 1906 in Greenville, Delaware, Jim Thompson was a man of diverse interests and talents. He studied architecture at Princeton University and later worked as an architect in New York City. During World War II, Thompson joined the Office of Strategic Services, the precursor to the CIA, and was stationed in Southeast Asia, where he developed a deep fascination with the region's culture and traditions. After the war, Thompson settled in Thailand and became involved in the country's silk industry, which at the time was a cottage industry on the verge of collapse. Recognizing the beauty and potential of Thai silk, he dedicated himself to reviving the craft. In 1948, he founded the Thai Silk Company, which quickly gained international acclaim. Thompson's keen eye for design, combined with his marketing skills, transformed Thai silk into a luxury fabric coveted by fashion designers and customers worldwide. By the 1950s and 1960s, Thompson had become a prominent figure in Thailand, earning the moniker the Silk King. He was also a well-known socialite, hosting lavish parties at his Bangkok home, which itself became a tourist attraction known as the Jim Thompson House. The house, a stunning blend of traditional Thai architecture and Western comforts, showcased his love for Southeast Asian art and culture. Jim embarked on a brief weekend holiday in March 1967 to visit a friend's residence, the Moonlight Bungalow, located in the scenic 5,000-foot-high rainforest of the Cameron Highlands in central Malaysia. On the Sunday of Easter, March 26th, he attended church, had lunch with his hosts and a companion, and then took a stroll in the afternoon while they were taking a nap. The most extensive land search in Southeast Asia was conducted, involving hundreds of individuals working full-time for 11 days. This search included Malay Police Field Force officers, Thai police, Malaysian Army personnel, British Army volunteers, US Army observers, Boy Scouts, patients from a local hospital, Orang Asli indigenous native trackers, the world's most renowned mystic, and over 118 local mystics. One scholar posits that the solution to Thompson's mystery could be found in certain bone fragments unearthed in the Cameron Highlands in 1985. The skeletal remains, devoid of the cranium, were unearthed by Orang Asli squatters in a burial site situated on the periphery of a vegetable field by the major thoroughfare in Brin Chang. Master Mariner Captain Philip J. Rivers reported that he was informed of the finding by a health officer during his investigation into Thompson's disappearance in 2007. Upon collecting the fragments, the authorities established no link to Thompson's disappearance in Tanah Rata, as they were discovered in Brin Chang. The likelihood is that his body remained undetected in the dense vegetation, concealed within an unmarked burial site following a hit-and-run incident. Rivers stated that a DNA test conducted on the bones could potentially offer a more comprehensive response. Thus far, there has been no definitive verification that the bones are the legitimate remains of Thompson. Rivers also states that the bones are currently stored in a secure and protected location. As of right now, his disappearance remains a mystery. The mystery of the Vimana, a mythological flying palace or chariot described in Hindu texts. The concept of advanced flying machines is often considered a product of modern science fiction, but ancient Hindu texts tell a different story. According to these texts, Vimana were flying palaces or chariots used by gods and legendary figures capable of traveling vast distances through the air. Described in astonishing detail in ancient scriptures such as the Vedas, Mahabharata, and Ramayana, these vehicles are depicted with features and capabilities that eerily resemble modern aircraft and even spaceships. Some researchers and enthusiasts believe that the accounts of Vimana could be more than just myth. They could be evidence of early UFO sightings or even advanced technology possessed by ancient civilizations. The word Vimana in Sanskrit generally means a vehicle or craft, and it is most commonly associated with flying machines. These flying machines are prominently featured in several ancient Hindu texts, with descriptions that vary in detail and purpose. In the Ramayana, for example, the Pushpaka Vimana is described as a flying palace that belonged to the demon king Ravana. This Vimana was said to be capable of flying at great speeds and could travel to any place on Earth at the command of its owner. It was large enough to accommodate Ravana's entire court, suggesting that it was not only a means of transport, but also a symbol of power and luxury. Similarly, the Mahabharata, another ancient epic, contains references to Vimana used in battles, where they are depicted as highly maneuverable and equipped with weapons of great power. These texts describe the Vimana as capable of moving vertically, horizontally, and even disappearing from sight, which some interpret as evidence of advanced propulsion systems and cloaking technology. Other ancient texts, such as the Vedas and various Puranas, also mention Vimana, often in the context of divine or semi-divine beings, using them to travel between Earth and the heavens. The Samarangana Sutradhara, a 12th century Sanskrit treatise on architecture, dedicates several chapters to the construction and operation of Vimana, detailing materials, designs, and even instructions for their use. For those who believe in the possibility of ancient UFOs, the descriptions of Vimana in Hindu texts are compelling. The detailed accounts of these flying machines, with their advanced capabilities, suggest that they may have been more than just products of the imagination. Some researchers theorize that Vimana could have been real, physical machines, perhaps remnants of a lost civilization with advanced technology, or even the result of contact with extraterrestrial beings. One popular theory is that ancient civilizations, including those in India, may have been visited by extraterrestrial beings who shared their technology with humans. The Vimana, according to this theory, could have been advanced aircraft provided by these beings, or reverse-engineered by humans who were taught or inspired by these visitors. The notion that ancient texts might contain descriptions of alien technology is not new, and the Vimana are often cited as key evidence in this argument. Supporters of this theory point to the precise descriptions of the Vimana's capabilities, such as the ability to fly at great speeds, hover, and travel vast distances, characteristics that align with modern descriptions of UFOs. They also highlight the fact that these texts were written thousands of years ago, long before the invention of aircraft, suggesting that the knowledge of such technology must have come from an external source. The Pushpaka Vimana, as described in the Ramayana, is perhaps the most famous of all the Vimana. This flying palace, which originally belonged to Kubera, the god of wealth, was taken by Ravana and later used by Lord Rama to return to his kingdom after defeating Ravana in battle. The Pushpaka Vimana is described as a magnificent vehicle, capable of flying through the sky at the speed of thought, guided by mental commands rather than physical controls. The description of the Pushpaka Vimana includes intricate details about its construction and features, such as its ability to expand and contract, its luxurious interiors, and its smooth, silent flight. These descriptions have led some researchers to speculate that the Pushpaka Vimana was not just a mythological creation, but a real aircraft, possibly powered by advanced technology that has since been lost to history. The disappearance of Amy Bechtel. Unfortunately, individuals disappearing with no trace is not an uncommon occurrence, and Amy Bechtel is one such sad case. Amy was 24 when she married Steve Bechtel, a fellow fitness enthusiast. A seemingly idyllic young couple, after their 1996 marriage, they moved to Lander, Wyoming, so that Steve could pursue his rock climbing passion, while Amy could run and teach fitness classes. They had purchased the house that they were planning on moving into, and Amy had a long list of tasks to complete in order to finish the process. On July 24, 1997, Steve departed for a rock climbing trip with one of his friends, while Amy left to teach a fitness class and complete some of her long list of errands to get the house ready to move into, before planning to take a jog on Loop Road in the Shoshone National Forest. When Steve returned after a long day of rock climbing, Amy still had not returned, but he was not immediately concerned, considering her long list of items that she planned to accomplish that day. He visited with his neighbors, Todd and Amy Skinner, around 8:15, noting that she was not back yet, but not seeming overly worried yet. However, at around 11 in the evening, when there was still no sign of Amy, he returned to the neighbors and recruited their help as the search for Amy Bechtel began. The Skinners drove through several of the roads that Amy typically took when jogging and located her white Toyota station wagon abandoned on Loop Road at approximately 1 in the morning. However, no trace of Amy could be found around the car. even after the search expanded to include over 500 people searching over a 20-mile radius over the course of 8 days before the search unfortunately had to be called off. The only trace of Amy that was ever found were her sunglasses, to-do list, and car keys which were located inside of her car. It seemed that she likely had her wallet with her, wherever she was. Amy Ray Bechtel was never found, and no other clues led to the resolution of this unsolved mystery, leading to her being declared legally deceased in 2004, 7 years after her disappearance. Her husband Steve was temporarily investigated as a suspect, but he was never charged, although some still believe that he is the one to blame for Amy's loss of life. Investigators searching the home found several journals and poems that Steve had written with violent themes and such. Later investigators also admitted that his plans for the day included several holes. Additionally, Amy's brother Nell disclosed that he had noticed a strange bruise on her arm several weeks before her disappearance. When he brought it up to her, she claimed that Steve would occasionally get a little rough with her, leading Nell to privately believe that he was hurting her. However, Steve was never charged by investigators and personally believes that Amy was either taken by a stranger as she jogged on Loop Road or was struck by a car, causing the driver to panic and hide her body. However, the cause of her disappearance has never been found, and Amy Ray Bechtel was never seen again. Cameron Robbins, an 18-year-old individual who recently finished high school, has been unaccounted for since the 24th of May after falling into the waters near the Bahamas while aboard a sunset cruise ship. While on a celebratory trip to the Bahamas with friends, Mr. Robbins, who had just graduated from the University Laboratory School in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, mysteriously vanished while in the ocean. On the 24th of May, Mr. Robbins went overboard while on a sunset cruise called Blackbeard's Revenge with the group. Based on the information provided, it's alleged that Mr. Robbins willingly leaped off the boat as part of a dare. A video capturing the incident reveals Mr. Robbins swimming in near-total darkness. But since the footage was released, various theories have been put forward to explain what happened, with some suggesting that it was a shark, while others pointed out that it sounded like the audio had been tampered with. After jumping off the boat, Mr. Robbins hasn't been seen since. The search for Mr. Robbins by the US Coast Guard and Royal Bahamas Defense Force lasted for multiple days, until it was suspended on Saturday, May 27th. Cameron Robbins, an 18-year-old individual, recently completed his high school education at University Laboratory School. This institution is affiliated with Louisiana State University and is located in Baton Rouge. According to reports, it has been stated that Mr. Robbins engaged in playing baseball during his time at school. Mr. Robbins and friends were vacationing at the Atlantis Paradise Resort in the Bahamas to commemorate their graduation, as confirmed by Louisiana State University. The excursion was not officially approved by the school. University Lab School Director Kevin George stated that Mr. Robbins was a student at the school for 13 years. The University Lab School community hopes for the best outcome in this situation and said that they have personally communicated with Cameron's family and noted that at the time of his disappearance, authorities in the Bahamas were actively searching for him. The university said that in moments like these, it is vital for us to unite and provide support to one another. It is claimed that during the trip, Mr. Robbins was challenged to leap off the boat. According to Jonathan Chia, a representative from Pirates Revenge Limited, the parent company of Blackbeard's Revenge, Mr. Robbins fell into the water at around 9:40 in the evening. Chia provided the following information in a statement. The video, recorded shortly after Mr. Robbins leaped into the water, depicted the 18-year-old swimming near the boat, while the passengers on the sunset cruise shouted at him. During the video, people can be heard encouraging Mr. Robbins to clutch onto the floating device they tossed into the water specifically for him. According to Mr. Chia, the ship's crew followed all authorized safety procedures and company policies when implementing the man overboard protocol. Their ultimate goal was to maximize the chances of rescuing someone who had fallen into the water. According to a video posted on Facebook, Commodore Raymond King of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force stated that the location where Mr. Robbins reportedly jumped into is known for having a high presence of sharks, and those who've analysed the video have said that you can see shadows swimming closely to Mr. Robbins, causing some to suggest that a shark could have been responsible, as bull and tiger sharks can be found in the Bahamas. One of the sharks that could have been responsible for Mr. Robbins' disappearance is the bull shark. Bull sharks are known for their aggressive behaviour and are considered one of the most dangerous shark species when it comes to interactions with humans. Bull sharks are found in coastal waters around the world and are known for their tolerance to both saltwater and freshwater environments. One of the reasons bull sharks are considered dangerous to humans is their proximity to shorelines and popular swimming areas. Unlike many other shark species that inhabit deep offshore waters, bull sharks are commonly found in coastal regions, including bays, harbours, and river mouths. This close proximity to human-populated areas increases the likelihood of encounters between bull sharks and swimmers, surfers, and divers. Bull sharks are known for their aggressive nature and have been involved in a significant number of unprovoked attacks on humans. They have a reputation for displaying territorial behaviour and are more likely to engage in aggressive encounters than other shark species. While bull sharks are responsible for a relatively small percentage of shark attacks worldwide, their ability to adapt to various habitats and their assertive behaviour make them a potential threat in certain environments. The other shark known throughout the region where Mr. Robbins went missing is that of the tiger shark. Tiger sharks are known for their large size, formidable teeth, and powerful jaws, making them one of the most feared shark species in the ocean. Tiger sharks are named for their distinctive dark stripes that resemble a tiger's pattern. They are large-bodied sharks, with adult females reaching lengths of up to 14 feet and males typically measuring around 11 to 13 feet. Tiger sharks are known for their opportunistic feeding habits and are often referred to as garbage cans of the sea due to their ability to consume almost anything they come across. They have a diverse diet that includes fish, seals, turtles, dolphins, birds, and even other sharks, and it's this versatility and willingness to scavenge that makes them more likely to interact with humans in various coastal and offshore environments. Tiger sharks are responsible for a notable number of unprovoked attacks on humans. The perception of tiger sharks as potentially dangerous stems from their size, powerful jaws, and their presence in popular swimming and surfing areas. They are commonly found in warm coastal waters around the world, including the tropics and subtropics. This overlap with recreational activities increases the likelihood of encounters between humans and tiger sharks. The US Coast Guard has not verified the rumors suggesting that the waters are populated by sharks. The US Coast Guard, District 7, was notified by the Royal Bahamas Defence Force at approximately 11:30 in the evening regarding the incident of Mr. Robbins falling overboard. This information was conveyed in an official statement issued by the Coast Guard. In an official statement, Lieutenant Commander Matthew Spardo, the Coast Guard liaison officer to the Bahamas, announced that the US Coast Guard District 7 has dispatched several search and rescue resources following a request for assistance from the Royal Bahamas Defence Force. Mr. Chia stated that Pirates Revenge Limited had a close collaboration with the Bahamian authorities and the US Coast Guard throughout the incident, and said that during the investigation, they were committed to ongoing cooperation with the authorities. Over the course of multiple days, both the Coast Guard and the Royal Bahamas Defence Force conducted an extensive search in the area where Mr. Robbins went missing, thoroughly scouring both the location itself and the surrounding waters. This search was conducted utilising air crews and employing specific search patterns. After conducting an extensive search over an area of over 325 square miles, the Coast Guard, in collaboration with the Royal Bahamas Defence Force, wrapped up their search operations on May 27th. In the statement, Mr. Spardo conveyed that the Royal Bahamas Defence Force had notified them about the suspension of the ongoing search efforts and their decision to not seek additional Coast Guard assistance. He also expressed his deepest condolences to the family and friends of Cameron Robbins in light of this news. During an official statement, Mr. Chia expressed that Pirates Revenge Limited thoroughly assessed and evaluated their safety measures and protocols. They are assured that the company's practices have consistently aligned with the top industry standards, ensuring the safety of their passengers. With the approval of the Bahamian authorities, Pirates Revenge Limited has commenced the operation of their cruise ship once again. In addition, Mr. Chia extended his gratitude to the crew for their unwavering professionalism and proficient execution of their responsibilities throughout the incident. There's many who've said that the video can be solved by identifying the mysterious shadows that emerge in the water, which caused him to swim away hastily. There has been online speculation triggered by the video suggesting that Robbins's demise may have been caused by a shark pursuing him. Several individuals have asserted that they can distinctly discern a shark in the footage. As mentioned, Commodore Raymond King of the Royal Bahamas Defence Force confirmed that the region where Robbins fell overboard is heavily populated with sharks. Other users pointed out that they noticed the presence of a shark on the left side of the video, while one user confidently claimed to have spotted a fin in the short video clip. The Bahamas, with its crystal-clear waters and stunning coral reefs, is a popular destination for beachgoers and water enthusiasts. However, amid the beauty and serenity of these turquoise seas, there is a lurking fear that captivates the minds of many: shark attacks. Shark attacks are a rare occurrence in the Bahamas, but they do happen. The archipelago is home to various species of sharks, and while sharks are an essential part of the marine ecosystem and play a crucial role in maintaining the balance of the underwater world, their encounters with humans can sometimes result in negative outcomes. Several factors contribute to shark attacks in the Bahamas. One of the primary factors is the interaction between humans and sharks in their natural habitat. The Bahamas offers exceptional diving and snorkeling opportunities, where tourists and locals can explore the vibrant coral reefs and swim alongside marine life. While these experiences are captivating, they can bring humans into close proximity with sharks, increasing the chances of an encounter. Another factor is the presence of bait and food sources in the water. Fishing and the improper disposal of fish waste can attract sharks to areas frequented by humans. Additionally, certain activities, such as spearfishing or fishing with bait, can unintentionally draw sharks closer to humans, creating a higher risk of an encounter. In the case of Mr. Robbins, some have suggested that the group may have been unknowingly chumming the water by accident, and they could have been doing this by dropping food into the water, which would have attracted wildlife. It is essential to note that the vast majority of shark encounters do not result in attacks. Sharks are often curious creatures and may approach humans out of curiosity or to investigate their surroundings. In most cases, these encounters are harmless and serve as a reminder of the beauty and diversity of marine life. However, there have been instances where sharks have exhibited aggressive behavior, leading to attacks. The Bahamas has implemented measures to ensure the safety of both humans and sharks in their waters. Shark conservation efforts aim to promote responsible interactions and minimize the risks associated with shark encounters. These efforts include educational programs, public awareness campaigns, and guidelines for divers and snorkelers. One such initiative is the establishment of marine protected areas and shark sanctuaries. These areas restrict fishing and other activities that could harm shark populations and their habitats. By protecting these vital areas, the Bahamian government aims to maintain the delicate balance of the marine ecosystem and ensure the long-term survival of sharks and other marine species. The discovery of giant skeletons in the United States has long captivated the imagination of people around the world. Tales of enormous humanoid remains, often referred to as giant skeletons, have fueled speculation about a hidden chapter of human history. According to various sources such as newspaper articles, scientific journals, historical documents and photographs, over the course of 2 centuries in North America, more than 1,000 skeletal remains of individuals who measured at least 7 feet in height have been discovered. These accounts reach from the east to west coasts of the United States and describe anomalies such as skulls with elongated shapes, excessive teeth, and jawbones that dwarfed the finder's face. The information that has been amassed on these discoveries is well documented. During the 1800s, it was reported that enormous skeletal remains were found in the burial mounds of North America. According to the reports, the skeletons were described as having a length of 7 to 8 feet, while some purported discoveries reaching 9 to 11 feet. Additionally, These skeletons were noted to have enormous skulls and lower jawbones. Early records from local historians frequently documented these remains, as evident in the following excerpt from Cass County, Michigan. Dr. Bonine had discovered a 13-feet-high mound with a diameter of the base approximately 50 feet and unusual skeletons. According to Dr. Bonine, one of the male skeletons, currently in his possession, had a well-preserved large femur, which indicates that the owner was likely 7 feet tall or more. Antiquarian scholars have documented the anthropology of ancient tall people found in prehistoric mounds. An article from the American Antiquarian, Volume 2, Number 1, provides an account from Chillicothe, Illinois. It is a commonly known fact that during the 19th and early 20th centuries, newspapers would often report on the discovery of large-scale skeletons found across the United States. An article from the News Herald on January 3, 1895, based in Portsmouth, Ohio, is a prime example of this trend. It's reported that bridge carpenters discovered an enormous skeleton while conducting excavation work. The finding occurred near Portsmouth, about 3 miles east of the area. The skeleton measured an astounding 7 feet and 4 inches in size. During the 1880s, the Eastern Mound Division of the Smithsonian Institute found many huge skeletons while destroying Native American burial mounds in North America. The Bureau of Ethnology's 12th annual report provides evidence of various large skeletons that were discovered by Smithsonian agents. Near the original surface of the mound, lying at full length upon its back, was one of the largest skeletons discovered by the Bureau agents. The length, as proved by actual measurement, being between 7 and 8 feet. Located at the heart of Mound 11, and buried approximately 3 feet deep, is a vault measuring 8 feet in length and 3 feet in width. Within this vault was discovered a complete human skeleton, measuring an impressive 7 feet in length. This particular specimen's height was determined to be roughly 7.5 feet when it was alive. Researchers arrived at this estimation based on the measurement distance between the skull base and toe bones, which came out to be about 7 feet 3 inches. During the 1900s, archaeologists took a renewed interest in ancient giants. With the help of Charles Snow, William S. Webb from the University of Kentucky was able to confirm that the distinct skeletal characteristics observed by previous sources belonged to the Adena mound building culture. Webb and Snow's study of Adena's anthropology was documented in 2 volumes of the Adena people. The first volume was published in 1945, and the second was co-written with Raymond S. Beebe and published in 1957. The forehead is typically highly noticeable and is situated beneath quite prominent brow ridges. The size of the jawbone's distinctive bulge is moderately projected. Generally, cheekbones are both large and noticeably prominent, extending forward and to the side. This information comes from a publication by Webb, Snow and Beebe in 1957. Moreover, in their analysis, Webb, Snow and Beebe observed a distinct bony chin structure, which is characterized by bilateral prominences leading to an extensive chin width. Although today known as the Maryland Science Center, one of the oldest scientific institutions of the United States, dating all the way back to 1797, the Maryland Science Center used to go by the name of the Maryland Academy of Sciences several decades ago. Dated back to the 25th of November, back in 1897, the Maryland Academy of Sciences was reported to have been in the possession of several skeletons of a lost Native American tribe of giants. Though the skeletons were not nearly as tall as many of the other claimed findings of previous years, the Academy of Sciences claimed that their collection featured 3 full skeletons of 7-foot-tall Native American giants believed to have been a part of an entire tribe of gigantic native people. The red-headed giants of Lovelock Cave. The next Native American legend we will be discussing surrounds the historical existence of cannibals in a small cave on the outskirts of Humboldt Sink, Nevada. The place is called Lovelock Cave and is about 150 feet long. The legend claims that the cave was once inhabited by 10 feet tall and red-haired giants who harmed and ate humans from the neighboring communities. The giants, known as Sitekar, were deeply feared by the Paiute Indians. The Paiute Indians eliminated the giants by trapping them inside the caves and funneling smoke inside until they passed away. Lovelock Cave, in which they lived, has since been a huge archaeological site and home to the discovery of over 10,000 artifacts. The University of California and its anthropologists went in and discovered tons of unique artifacts, like baskets, finely crafted sage brushes, knives, and other tools. They also found human bones, some of which were missing the marrow that had been dug out. This increased the truth of cannibalistic speculations and that the humans living within the cave ate other humans. Researchers claimed that most of the human bones remained untouched, and the bones that were missing marrow and sported knife marks might have been done out of necessity or famine and not a regular diet. The anthropologist Llewellyn L. Loud was in charge of the Lovelock Cave expeditions when he and his team discovered nearly 10,000 different artifacts. It took him many years of research and work before he could completely publish a full report of the findings. That being said, none of his findings directly proved the existence of 10 feet tall beings, and any human bones found were of the regular size for the time period. The cave was not easy to explore as it suffered from a collapse in roughly the year 440 BC, which led to the destruction of numerous access points. This likely influenced the residents of the cave to leave and find a home elsewhere. The new residents of the cave were mainly bats that, over time, caused a large pile-up of guano to cover the ground and all the artifacts. The cave has since been the site of many expeditions from various facilities and research centers, but none have yet to uncover any scientific proof of 10 feet tall giants. Sacsayhuamán in Peru. The word Sacsayhuamán comes from the Quechua language, translates roughly to royal eagle, or more literally, the place where the hawk was satiated. It is thought that it gained this name due to the high presence of these birds in the area where the structure was built. Sacsayhuamán is an architectural complex in the city of Cusco, Peru. The building was erected by the Incas in the 15th century under the 9th Incan leader, Pachacuti Inca Yupanqui, and his successors. A project as massive as this necessitated the hard work of at least 20,000 labourers, which were divided by the thousands and given jobs such as quarrying duties, digging trenches, and laying the foundations of this huge monument. This fortress is the largest built by the Incas. It was constructed on an elevated rocky head facing the northern marshy ground outside the Incan capital, Cusco. The Incas were known as master stonemasons, and their abilities are demonstrated wonderfully in this building. It was built using dry stone walls and boulders that were fit tightly together using mortar. Although they did not use anything to cement the stones together, their mechanics ensured that the building stood strong and stable. The huge blocks of stone making up the temple were shaped using nothing but harder rocks and bronze tools. Based on the marks left on these stones, researchers believe they were mostly pounded into shape rather than being cut. The blocks must have been moved around using ropes, levers, poles, and earth-made ramps. This is evident due to the indentations that remained on the stones even after they were fit into place in the building. It was built to withstand earthquakes and the damage from such natural disasters through the interlocking of the blocks and sloped walls, which maximized protection. It is definitely apparent that this proved to be successful, as the building has survived over 500 years of earthquakes. The area also contains a variety of buildings, such as residential spaces, towers, holy places, warehouses, roadways, and aqueducts. The positioning and placing of the area is similar to other Incan locations, like the Machu Picchu. It stands as a testament to the Incas' skills in architecture and their ability to create a structure that worked in harmony with the natural landscape of the place. It is simply incredible to see the remains of history and the magnificent skills and abilities of those who lived before us, and to be able to witness the architectural pursuits that were accomplished without the use of modern technology and resources. Tesla want to make humanoid robots. A robot uprising is part of many sci-fi and dystopia classics, though with the robots that are being developed, from Alexa to more complex AI, some are worried that it will not be long before this terrifying trope is part of our lives. This is not helped by the 2021 announcement that Tesla is working on a TeslaBot, a humanoid robot that Elon Musk claims could have a working prototype by 2022. Musk has said that the TeslaBot will take care of chores and jobs that us humans just are not fans of. As he continued to describe the robot, he said the AI technology that goes into the TeslaBot will be the same used in the cars, though this humanoid will be decked out with an intricate camera setup to keep an eye on what is going on in the world. A frankly, quite unnerving design is going to be about 1.7 meters tall. Musk has said that the robot is intended to be friendly. While in the world of AI, there may not be definite answers nor a great deal of certainty, the intended does not fill us with a great deal of reassurance. The purpose of the robots is to take off of our hands the jobs that we just do not want to do. These were described by Musk as those that are dangerous, repetitive, and boring. The idea is that any physical work will eventually become optional, thanks to the TeslaBot. A function that looks as though it could be featured is the ability for the robot to understand simple instructions, such as picking up groceries for you. Musk hopes that the TeslaBot could even fill the labor gap, though others are concerned about jobs being taken away from humans in need of work. Of course, the Tesla cars themselves have not come without criticism, with many questioning the capabilities of the self-driving features, following the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration claiming to have identified 11 crashes being the fault of the Tesla cars hitting emergency services vehicles that were parked in the road. One incident resulted in a fatality and in total 17 injuries. Despite these incidents, Musk maintains his view that the Tesla self-driving system is safer than humans on the road. Whatever your personal opinion is, I am sure you can understand the concerns of those wary about the Tesla AI in cars, never mind the same system being used to create humanoids allegedly capable of taking jobs over for us. The world of AI is controversial as it is, though the work of Tesla and Elon Musk himself has caused an even greater divide, with some cheering on the scientific advancements and others wary of the economic and social implications. This expansive road materialized along the coastline of Sakhalin Island. The mysterious photographs quickly led to the emergence of various theories regarding a potential lost civilization. A massive stone road suddenly appeared on the shores of Sakhalin Island. Although it was only visible for a brief period of time, it attracted enough attention for hundreds of photographs to be captured. The unexpected appearance startled the residents of the island, and many of them said that the mysterious road appeared out of nowhere. Sakhalin Island is situated in the Ring of Fire, an area renowned for its significant subduction zones. This accounts for the frequent occurrence of intense seismic and volcanic activity on the island. It shares its southern border with Japanese islands. It is important to note that certain individuals who question the origin of these enigmatic structures argue that a natural cause is the most plausible explanation. However, it should be acknowledged that while this explanation may account for their formation, it does not provide insight into their actual creation. The massive road can be observed to bear a striking resemblance to those constructed by ancient civilizations, but it has been noticeably weathered by the relentless force of the sea. Therefore, numerous individuals have expressed the desire for a comprehensive geological or archaeological examination to be conducted on this enigmatic formation. It is important to mention that in close proximity to that location, along the coast of Japan, there exist enigmatic underwater structures known as yonaguni. Various researchers have suggested that these submerged structures are associated with the mysterious civilization known as Mu. The expansive highway running along the coastline of Sakhalin bears a striking resemblance to the well-known Bimini Road, which is believed to be the remnants of the mythical Atlantis discovered in the Caribbean Sea. The colossal highway remains shrouded in mystery, with limited information available regarding its nature, except for its remarkable and transitory existence. The allure of the oceans has always captivated human imagination, offering sustenance, exploration, and trade routes to countless civilizations throughout history. However, beneath the depths lies a profound mystery. The ocean's relentless advance has claimed numerous ancient civilizations, swallowing their cities, cultures, and stories into its abyss. The history of humanity is replete with examples of thriving civilizations that flourished along coastlines, deltas, and rivers, only to be engulfed by the rising tides. The lost city of Atlantis, a legendary civilization described by Plato, has intrigued scholars for centuries. Although its existence remains disputed, the narrative underscores the fascination with the concept of a magnificent civilization consumed by the sea. Natural disasters, shifting tectonic plates, and rising sea levels have all played pivotal roles in the submersion of ancient civilizations. The destruction wrought by earthquakes and tsunamis can erase entire coastal communities from the face of the earth. The Minoan civilization, centered on the island of Crete, is an illustrative example. Around 1600 BCE, the cataclysmic eruption of the Thera volcano generated tsunamis that devastated Minoan settlements and contributed to the civilization's decline. Additionally, the inexorable rise of sea levels due to melting ice caps and climate change poses a contemporary threat. The sunken city of Pavlopetri, located off the coast of Greece, serves as a stark reminder of this phenomenon. Submerged around 1000 BCE, the ruins offer insights into early urban planning and societal organization, while also sounding a warning about the environmental challenges faced by modern coastal communities. The stories of these submerged civilizations resonate with profound lessons that extend beyond their historical contexts. They underscore the impermanence of human achievements and the vulnerability of even the most advanced societies in the face of natural forces. The oceans, which once nurtured and sustained these civilizations, now serve as repositories of their memory, reminding us of the transitory nature of human endeavors. Advancements in technology have revolutionized our ability to explore and document the submerged remnants of ancient civilizations. Underwater archaeology, remote sensing techniques, and robotic exploration tools have allowed researchers to delve into the depths and unearth treasures hidden beneath the waves. These discoveries enrich our understanding of history and culture, while offering opportunities for interdisciplinary collaboration between archaeologists, oceanographers, and environmental scientists. Across cultures and civilizations, tales of a catastrophic deluge have been woven into the fabric of human history, leaving an indelible mark on our collective consciousness. From the Epic of Gilgamesh to the biblical story of Noah's Ark, the theme of a great flood that engulfs the world and reshapes humanity's destiny transcends time and geography. The Great Flood narrative is not confined to a single culture. Instead, it emerges as a universal motif that spans the globe. The Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the earliest known works of literature from ancient Mesopotamia, recounts the story of a catastrophic flood, unleashed by the gods to punish humanity's transgressions. The tale of Utnapishtim, a survivor of the flood, mirrors the biblical account of Noah's Ark, where a chosen family and pairs of animals are saved from the waters. In Indian mythology, the Matsya Purana recounts the story of King Manu, who is warned of an impending flood by a fish, which later transforms into a giant fish to save him and the world's creatures. Similarly, in the Native American tradition, the Hopi people share stories of the Great Deluge, describing how they were led to safety on the back of a turtle. These diverse flood narratives reflect the human impulse to grapple with questions of mortality, divine intervention, and the cyclical nature of existence. The universality of the theme suggests that, despite vast geographical distances and cultural differences, societies sought to explain the unfathomable forces of nature and their own place within the cosmos. The Great Flood narrative often serves as a moral lesson, reminding humanity of the consequences of hubris and the need for humility and respect for the natural world. It encapsulates a collective fear of the uncontrollable, a reverence for the power of the elements, and a desire for salvation and renewal. While the Great Flood narrative is deeply rooted in mythology and cultural memory, scientific investigations have sought to uncover the kernels of truth that might underlie these stories. Geological evidence suggests that catastrophic floods did occur in various regions throughout history, often resulting from the melting of glaciers, the collapse of natural dams, or tsunamis triggered by seismic events. One of the most notable examples is the flooding of the Black Sea around 7,000 years ago, which may have inspired some of the flood narratives in the region. The Mediterranean Sea once breached the natural barrier, inundating the basin and creating a dramatic flood that could have been etched into local memory and passed down through generations. The Great Flood narrative continues to resonate in modern times, offering insights into the human capacity to grapple with uncertainty and change. These narratives also prompt us to consider the ethical and moral dimensions of our relationship with the environment. They encourage us to reflect on our responsibility as stewards of the earth and the consequences of heedless exploitation of natural resources. The recurring motif of a catastrophic deluge transcends time and geography, permeating the myths and legends of numerous ancient civilizations. The Great Flood narrative holds a profound cultural significance, often serving as a foundation for a civilization's creation myths and religious beliefs. Many ancient societies attached divine meaning to the concept of a flood, using it as a backdrop to explain the origins of humanity, the gods' interactions with mortals, and the cyclical nature of life and death. The universality of the flood narrative could stem from a shared human experience of facing natural calamities, creating an empathetic bridge across cultures. Floods are among the most devastating of natural disasters, leaving a lasting imprint on societies that experienced them. The documentation of the Great Flood may have been a way for ancient civilizations to cope with the fear and trauma associated with such events by imbuing them with meaning and purpose. The documentation of the Great Flood could also be rooted in the environmental realities faced by these civilizations. Many ancient settlements were situated near rivers, lakes, or coastlines, making them vulnerable to flooding. As communities were periodically ravaged by deluges, the experiences of witnessing the destruction and struggling for survival would have etched themselves into the collective memory. Over time, these experiences might have been elaborated upon and integrated into cultural narratives, serving as cautionary tales that reinforce the importance of respecting natural boundaries. The documentation of the Great Flood by so many ancient civilizations offers a window into the intricate interplay of culture, psychology, environment, and shared experience. The universality of the flood narrative demonstrates the profound ways in which humans grapple with the mysteries of existence, our relationship with nature, and the enduring quest for meaning in a complex and unpredictable world. The tapestry of human history is a rich and intricate narrative that spans millennia, shaping the course of civilization as we know it. However, a staggering revelation casts a shadow over our understanding of the past. Approximately 98% of human history remains shrouded in obscurity, hidden beneath the veil of time. The vast majority of human history rests in the realm of the unknown, existing only as fragmented whispers in the archaeological record and speculative theories. Our comprehension of the ancient world is primarily derived from artifacts, ruins, and inscriptions, but these remnants often offer mere glimpses into the cultures, societies, and events that defined the lives of our distant ancestors. The scarcity of written records, the perishable nature of materials, and the ravages of time have collectively conspired to obscure the intricate narratives of countless civilizations. Several factors contribute to the immense historical gaps that mark our understanding of the past. One of the most significant challenges lies in the lack of written records from pre-literate societies. In the absence of written language, societies relied on oral traditions to pass down their knowledge and stories, leaving little trace for modern historians to decipher. Moreover, the materials used for early writing were often perishable, such as papyrus or wood, rendering them susceptible to decay over time. Natural disasters and conflict have also played a pivotal role in erasing entire chapters of human history. Cataclysmic events like volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, and floods have submerged ancient settlements and destroyed valuable records. Additionally, the deliberate destruction of cultural heritage during times of conflict or conquest has further contributed to the loss of historical knowledge. The scarcity of historical information carries profound implications for our understanding of human development, societal evolution, and cultural dynamics. The missing epochs leave us bereft of insights into the complexities of governance, technology, belief systems, and artistic expression that shaped the trajectory of humanity. The lost civilizations could hold the keys to understanding the roots of modern societal challenges and the solutions that were developed and subsequently forgotten. Furthermore, the absence of this vast historical wealth deprives us of a sense of continuity and connection with our distant past. It is akin to a jigsaw puzzle with innumerable missing pieces, leaving gaps in our collective identity and understanding of where we come from.